Sure what exactly is going on? Then go to Ashland Ace Hardware, and they will show you how. First, buy the book Riverstones Grow Plants by Richard Campbell from either Ashland Ace or Barnes & Noble. Then get your supplies from the hardware store. You will read how to assemble indoor gravel gardens, eating fresh microgreens and sprouts in just 10 days. Time to have your own produce section at home to add daily fresh nutrition to your salads, sandwiches, soups, and smoothies. Harvest, eat, and repeat, and grow fresh produce for decades at home, indoors, or outdoors. Get the book, Riverstones Grow Plants, from Ashland Ace Hardware or Barnes & Noble. Grow in peace as rock is the new green in 2018. Richmond, hello world. You're tuned into the Ricky Rocks Talk Show with your host, Rich Campbell, here on Friday, July 6th. We got to say happy Friday and have a good weekend. You know, it's a very sunny weekend. We want to make sure you guys go on out to the beach and have fun with your families as you go camping. Remember, the rocks of the beach and the rocks in the streams will work to grow your plants. So this is the Ricky Rocks Talk Show, and on this show, we talk about growing plants and rocks, and we also have Gospel Fusion, what helps you dance a little bit and get it going on a Friday. Our topics today include Fulton County, and more about Fulton County. Well, it is going down, as you can tell, in Fulton County. The vote came in. They chose to do geological agriculture in Fulton County, Georgia, and we're going to talk about what we have going on down there. It's a lot, and pretty much most of the show is going to be about Fulton County. Also, we're going to talk about spring gardening. You know, this is a show where we try to share and teach different ways of looking at gardening. And on this show, we talk about looking at gardening through rocks. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what we've got growing in our gravel gardens up in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere. And so we're also going to have a caller, a special surprise caller who's trying to take this somewhere way far away. So we're going to look at what that is in just a little bit. So right now we're going to break into our first Gospel Fusion. You know, we're doing hip hop today, y'all. You know, I was doing house, I was doing reggae. And so there is something, you know, there's one hip hop artist. He's got something, you know, already for the gospel scene, straight hip hop called God's Plan. You got to give it up for your man Drizzy here on the Ricky Rocks Talk Show. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't want to dive in and miss me. Guess I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. Ain't gon' tell the story, shit was different with me. God's plan, God's plan. I hold back sometimes I won't, yeah. I feel good when I'm alone, hey. Leave me in the studio, hey, wait. Daily self-discovery, yeah, wait. Holiday recovery, wait. They love them instead of me. Still bad things, there's a lot of bad things. They wish, they wish, they wish, they wish, they wish. She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my cat and my snowboard, I'm sorry. 93, I even got it tatted on me. 2012, lady, I'm not feeling sorry. And you know me, without T there probably would be no me, dog. Holler back at me in 2023. Line you bitches up from the nosebleeds, yeah. God's plan, God's plan. There we go. Got to give a little shout out every so often. Our hip hop artists out there doing the work of the Lord's in their way and God's plan. And Drizzy, you know, we had to give a shout out to you, man. Especially if we're gonna do some hip hopping with some gospel and then some God and all that. All right, so now let's get into what's going on. You know, Fulton County. We've been talking about them, I think, since February. And it's gone back and forth, but it has finally landed into a great place there. We're going to start doing actual geological agriculture workshop training centers at 3 locations there in Fulton County, Georgia. This starts next week, really. Next week, the 16th, we'll be down there doing our first set of installations at the Bowden Center and Oak Hill, and then the Wolf Creek Library. And so the way they're doing it down there is they're having, we're doing it at a library to get the library type of environment. We're doing it at a senior center so that seniors can also engage and see how that population is affected. And then we're doing it at a family center. So 3 different types of locations, each different types, pretty much the same workshop, but they'll all have different types of gardening outdoors based on their locations. And so we're really excited to be able to get something going on a municipal level, city level, where the folks down there are really trying to address the issues of food insecurity, address the issues of lack of access to nutrition and its health disparities. So we're really excited to be able to start that in Atlanta. And then what we're going to do after a little later on the show, we'll get into some more details about exactly how you roll this out. How do you start in a city and then make it a what we call a sustainable city where all of its citizens have access to nutrition? And so we'll go on and look into that. But right now we're going to break into our first caller. We have Mr. Abdul. We met at a trade conference, Africa Trade Conference, just 2 weeks ago, I think. And we had a great conversation, unlike most of the callers on this show, where it's a person who's worked with the Gravel Grow Cup. This individual, he has a different perspective. He's trying to take gravel to other places. So, Mr. Abdullah, are you on the line?
Yes, I am online.
Well, tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and your interest in these river rocks.
Hey, my name is Abdoulaye Sambou. I live in Virginia, but I'm originally from Senegal, West Africa. I've been living in the U.S. for now 20 years. I met Richard at the Africa Trade Global Summit and talked about really food safety in Africa, and I'm sure that all of you are aware of the food scarcity and then people, importing like really fruits and vegetables still in those countries there. So being able to use this technology or this science locally, and then I think it will have a great impact on the economy and also food safety in those countries in Africa. I think it's a great science now that needs to be on the ground as soon as possible.
And so, what attracted you to this in the first place? I was there with my team, and what did we say to pique your interest?
The interest is food safety. I know for a very long time, especially now, most government in Africa are looking to really grow locally, and then like food security, it's a big deal now for most governments in Africa. Job creations, and those are 2 priority things that most governments in Africa are really, really, really like fighting for. And I believe that if this science today works, and then the population is able to grow fruit and vegetable locally, I think it will have a great impact in communities there, and it will especially improve living conditions there for people.
Now, we had our first conversation earlier today. What are some of the questions you may have as it relates to, you met us here in terms of getting this on over to some of the countries there. What questions do you have of us to help that process along?
The question really that I have is right now, after talking to you earlier, I have a better understanding how it works. But for every, it doesn't matter what it is, but a pilot project is needed locally there to just really show people that this does work, and then how also the next steps are how do we implement it there. So really, it is like my question is like, how do we take this? How do we put our forces and then, and resources to make this happen in places like Senegal, Mali, and Guinea? How do we do it?
Okay, that's good question. So, the response is, we have to identify what rock is best in those countries. Okay, each country has a different type of river rock. It's not like soil. There are 12 types of soil on the planet. When it comes to river rock, for this purpose, you have tens of thousands of type of river rock. So every country that you name, Senegal, Guinea, Mali, they have different river rock access. Senegal and Guinea are probably going to be way better than Mali because they're on the coast. So they'll have both ocean rock and river rock. And then I think that if you look at the country of Senegal, the way their rivers and inlets are, you have different bays and channels and rivers, and the different interiors of the country. So every zone, there's a different type of river rock there. And so we have to gather them and test them against your local seeds. It's not like before where we, society would come in with our special seeds for you. This is something where we want to use your local seeds. We want to, what you guys want to grow there in Senegal, what you want to grow in Mali, what seeds are there, the indigenous seeds. So we test the indigenous seeds with the indigenous rock. And once we are comfortable with one of the rocks that we're witnessing the growth in, we then kind of use that for that country. And then we conduct training of trainers workshops for about a year. And at the end of that process, we try to train maybe about 15,000 people. Basically, we want to get to about 1% of your population to train, and we generally start with the educators, the teachers, and the professors, and those kind of folks who can then take it further in that country.
Right.
And then you guys go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you about your universities in Senegal. You've got I guess a good number of universities there to work with. They would be part of what we would do in identifying the right rock type.
Oh yeah, they would partner. We can surely partner with the University of Dakar, which is in the capital of Senegal. And also we have the University of St. Louis in the northern part of Senegal, where it's like mainly rice farming. Okay. We also have a university in Ziguinchor, which is in the south of Senegal, where the land is like very, very fertile. And then rice is grown there, and other vegetables are, grown in the southern part of Senegal. And I believe that being in Casamance, which is really close to a country called Gambia, so we can do both that area of that part of Senegal and Gambia at the same time. And being able to capture those rocks there and do the test, going through that process there, and like a pilot project, and I believe that it will pay for itself in the future, because it's really going to demonstrate the agricultural department there, and even the Chamber of Commerce, that, hey, we took these rocks here, we did the study, we put the seeds in, and look, we have like tomatoes, we have onion, we have rice. We have potatoes. Those are the main ingredients there that people use, and I'm sure you know that people, being in Mali yourself, people cook every day and eat rice at least once a day. And with rice, you have onion, you have potatoes. That really those especially onions, main ingredients on the daily basis there. So there is a demand there, there is a need there. So how do you integrate this science there, partner with universities, and license people to really learn the science here, license people to learn the science here and being able to kind of train people and coach people to grow vegetables and vegetable and fruits, being able to just grow them, sell them in the market, and generate some revenue for their families there.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that and that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that about those universities, the University of Dakar, St. Louis. We start there. When we come to your country, we are going to be requesting an observation team, and it's going to be representatives from your universities, your public school systems, your government, the EPA there, ag, interior, to observe how we study your local rocks. And I'm looking on the map here, and you guys are going to do super well. I'm looking, these rivers that flow into Senegal, right off the Atlantic. I mean, they're all over the place. They go pretty deep into the country. And then this Gambia River, like you were saying, Gambia to the south, or rather nestled in between Senegal, it's basically one big, as long as the country is there a river. And so Gambia, the people of Gambia and Senegal will be pretty much nutritionally self-sufficient once we go through this process, because once we kind of turn on the lights, it's like your grandmother says, once you ring the bell, you can't unring it. And so once we kind of show how to use this local rock, this new life skill, and so it's all about making sure that you get our team over there sooner rather than later. Our process is pretty much we do about 3-4 months on the ground. And in that time, we figure out your rock, and then we do a series of conferences. And that way, we really get to do it. And so we're going to follow up. I think I'm going to come visit you later this afternoon and drop off some gravel grow cups and some supplies and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can see it. You can see it yourself. And, do you have a website or information you'd like to share about who you are, what you're doing out there with the callers? We always want to make sure we promote our callers.
I don't have. I'm in the process of building my website, but my company is called World Innova LLC. It's registered in Virginia.
Okay.
What I do is I'm currently doing project financing for projects in Africa. It's a lot of projects going on there, but with local banks in most countries in Africa, it's very hard to get the financing they need to start their business or scale up their business. So, and the other main thing is, like, besides the financing part, being able to raise some funds, is just to get guarantees to be able to have an investor invest in their project. So those things there is higher demand here and there. So I kind of search, for investors in the U.S. Just willing to just pitch in on like project in Africa. The other thing that I do, I'm involved with for the water industry there. I'm a distributor for a water purification system based in Florida. So we have like solar power with water purification system, and then those are mobile systems. The other second thing I do, I'm into renewable energy there, being solar power plant, and I partner with a company here that's like has the technology, has the resource there, and looking to, join governments in Africa in building solar power plants there. The last thing is housing. The most governments in Africa do have like affordable housing programs for like middle income people. Just being able to kind of just go in and have contact with manufacturing company here, housing companies there, but it's mainly for prefabricating houses, like with like stick panels, which is like structural harness there that you can take to Africa, put together in a matter of like a month, and then you have a house instead of just going through the process in Africa using cement that takes about 6 to 8, sometimes a year to build one home.
Got it.
Really, and then that is like really new, and it hasn't sinked in yet. Most people is like, oh, prefabricated is not good, it's wood. But they just don't know the science behind it because three types of prefabricated homes. The prefab, you have the wood one. Obviously, it's not good for Africa because of termites and stuff. So it is not good. It's not recommended for Africa. But you do have the fiber cement one and the fiberglass. But I have one company in North Carolina and another one in Florida that kind of make those products there. So I'm just trying to make those available because housing cement there is like growing so crazy.
That's fantastic. For example, it's fantastic how you're. It's fantastic how you're working. You're working it so that these American companies and these African communities can start to engage, and you seem to be covering it with the housing, the water, and hopefully we can get the rocks all mixed in. So, Mr. Abdullah, we're going to thank you for calling into the show. We'll have you back on once you've seen some of the things growing for yourself and get your opinion in a few weeks. So thanks again for calling to the Ricky Rocks Talk Show. And so, guys out there in Richmond land, we're going to break into our next quick song, a little hip-hop Christian for you that we got out of DJ YouTube. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a billboard, and I'm broadcasting like a radio. Tell the world you ought to know I'm brand new.
I know one thing's true. I don't even really deserve to know you, but I'm a witness that you did this, and I'm brand new. So I'm ready to go, and I'ma tell the world what they need to know. A slave to myself, but you let me go. I tried getting high, but it left me low. You did what they could never do. You cleaned up my soul and gave me life. I'm so brand new, and that's all that matters. I ain't love you first, but you first loved me. Come on, in my heart I cursed you, but you set me free. I gave you no reason to give me new seasons, to give me new life, new breathing. But you hung there bleeding. You died for my lies and my cheating, my lust and my greed. What is a man that you mindful of him? And what do I have to deserve this love?
Trying to make the moments last, holding on to the past. But like a hero in a dream, Christ came and he rescued me. Now I'ma tell the world, I'ma tell it everywhere I go. Tell the world, yeah, I'm a billboard, and I'm broadcasting.
Yeah. Man, that DJ YouTube is always on point with finding the good gospel infused mixes from every type of music genre we got out there. So we love that today's setup. So let's get back into what the show is also about, which is gardening. What's what we're doing outside. You know, for those of you, I know if you're driving, don't do it quite yet, but check out the Instagram. Our Instagram at Tosoiless is TOSOILLESS. It's really got some good things growing. Right now, in season, on tap, we have our gladiolas. They're coming out. We got some yellow ones and some pink ones now, so we're really happy about these glads. They do really well both in the gravel grow cups and in the outdoor versions. The in-ground, and our cherry tomatoes. On some of our prior shows, we were talking about these cherry tomatoes. So what happens with cherry tomatoes in gravel is last year, my cherry tomato plant got 8 feet tall. So you figure you get this 8 feet tall plant popping out cherry tomatoes, about 30 of them fell into the gravel garden, and we ate the rest. And then, the leaves decayed and, composted in there automatically through the season. And so what happens with cherry tomatoes and gravel is you plant once and that's it, because cherry tomatoes, when they fall, also in soil, this happens in soil too, if you have really good soil and everything, but they will reseed. So with cherry tomatoes and gravel gardens, I got back about 40 different new cherry tomato plants growing. And right now they're, about 5 feet tall. And we are in July. And so these things grow into November. So I possibly could get a 10-foot tall cherry tomato plant this year. So watch the Instagrams for that. We also have our string beans doing well. Very often, string beans are very hardy in gravel. They always pop up. We've got some images of some stuff growing in Wake County. So right now, another thing about the gardening and gravel, not just in the production, which could be great, these tall trees, is that seeds. Most of your stores stop selling seeds in June because soil's done. And since soil is generally done, the seed people don't sell seeds anymore. So it's going to be a hard time for most of you out there listening now to even buy seeds anywhere. Pretty much select Ace Hardwares or maybe Pleasance might have seeds, but not a lot of places. We recommend ordering them now from either Burpee or Botanical Interest. And then another thing about that means that gravel extends the growing season. So you can grow longer with gravel. So my producers are telling me, Rich Campbell, we've got 1 minute left. You better get all you're going to get in 60 seconds. Well, we like to say shout outs for our sponsors. Get the book Riverstones Grow Plants. That's the book that shows you how to grow plants and rocks. This whole thing you heard about in Africa and Senegal, it's really a big exercise for folks to learn and understand the book Riverstones Grow Plants. You can get it here at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. It's $40 there. If you go to our website, twosoilless.com, TOSOILLESS, twosoilless. There it's a $20 download, but then you can download and grow. You have it everywhere you go. So get the book Riverstones Grow Plants by me, Richard Campbell. Learn about geological agriculture or geoag. It's the way to grow. The food is highly nutritious. Next week, we're going to talk about some of the nutritional value. We've had some testing done, and we're about to do another round of testing because of everything that's got going on in Atlanta. But we like to say thank you all for tuning in and watching in to the Ricky Rocks Talk Show here in Richmond on 101.3 FM, 990 AM. I'm your host, Rich Campbell of the Ricky Rocks Talk Show. We just have to say, have a good weekend. We're out. Peace.
What if we told you that you can now go to the hardware store, get a bag of rock sand and seeds and eat? What if we told you there was a new science called geological agriculture, the study of growing plants and rocks without soil and fertilizer? Well, these are no longer what-if statements. This is the new reality. Rocks